Hi, I wanted to make a video to tell the people that helped me get to on this trip and going towards the trip what happened because it was really fun. It was a great learning experience. I had a lot of fun. So, when I went on the flight, when I got on my first flight, which was from Dallas to San Francisco, it was really fun. It was the first time I've been on a plane in like 10 years. And it was just a 3 hour flight, and I was like, I'm nervous about that. But I got to sit next to someone that I could talk to for a good 2 hours, and I slept the other hour. It was really fun flight, amazing flight. Well, when I got off the flight and we got to San Francisco, we waited until our flight was ready to go to New Zealand. So New Zealand's flight was a 14-hour flight from San Francisco to Auckland, New Zealand, which was by far the most confusing, fun, scary thing I've ever experienced because I haven't been on a plane in a while. That 3 hour flight was just so small plane compared to the one we were on. And well, it was really fun. When we got to New Zealand, we got off, went through customs, went through everything. Um, then it was straight onto a bus for like 2 hours to get to the Waitino Caves, which I have no clue how to say it. That's how I say it. Waitino Caves, which had glowworms hanging off of it. It was a very beautiful cave, amazing place to be at. It was like there were thousands of them. It was so nice. I wish I could take pictures, but it was not okay to take pictures in there, so I really couldn't. It was really dark in there too. Then we left the caves to go to Rotorua to go into our hotel and waited for the next day. The next day, we went to the Agrodome, which was really fun. The Agrodome, like they had this sheep show, they had a petting zoo there. They showed the sheep of New Zealand. There was this one giant one called Prince that was like huge. It was scary. Then we went on a gondola ride. So like we went on a gondola ride from like onto a mountain. So we went onto a mountain. The mountain was pretty high up there, and it was really cold. So cold. Well, they had this giant swing. I forgot the name of it. It's this giant swing that like a giant mechanical swing that would like bring you up, and then when it dropped you, you would go like 95 miles an hour down, and you'd go over the side of the mountain, and it would look so nice over there. It was way too cold though. I saw snow for the first time. That was like the first time I've ever seen snow. They had they had these things called luges where you could ride down the mountain. They had this really cool jelly bean store that had like art made out of jelly beans. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen, other than the entire mountain. Well, then we went to the Maori History Center. The Maori History Center is what is it? It like shows the stuff that the Maori people had to do, their customs, and it showed like the landscape they lived through. There were these awesome geysers. Geysers, not waterfall, they go up. Geysers, and it was so nice. They blew up a lot of steam and you could barely see anything, but they were beautiful. Then there was like mud baths, but they were like bubbling up mud, and it was supposed to be like 125 degrees on the surface. Then I got to go see what the town hall would look like in a Maori place, a house, and a storage facility, which was really cool. They also had a wood carving and weaving school there. It was a really nice place. Then, later that night, when we got back to our hotel, we had a Maori traditional dinner, which had a bunch of different meats, bunch of different vegetables. It was a very nice dinner. And then they gave us a show. And when they did the show, they had the guys, which was my favorite part, the guys went up and did the haka, which is a very cool, like, Maori war dance. It was the best thing I ever saw. Then in New Zealand, we were still in New Zealand, but instead of us staying in Rotorua, we went to Auckland. Auckland had a very nice war memorial museum and a awesome aquarium. The aquarium there was an underwater section of the aquarium that we got to see sharks being fed, big manta rays, stingrays. I got to see fish of all different colors and shapes. The war museum had not only just memorials of war, but it had like ancient stuff. It was like a regular museum you could be to over here, but it was way like, it was a different atmosphere because like it had more Asian culture with it too. Then our last day in New Zealand, we finished off the day. Then we woke up the next day to get ready to go on a flight to Sydney, Australia. Well, of course. When we flew over there, everything was so nice. I got to see the Opera House. I got to see the bridge. I got to walk on the bridge. I got to walk by the Opera House, sit by the Opera House, have a tour in the Opera House. And it was such a nice place. Then we went to our hotel. We had a very nice dinner. Then I fell asleep. Then we got up, went on a walking tour around. We walked around Sydney, saw things. Our tour guide told us where to go, like what were the best places to go to. We walked around Sydney at night until like we left like the group. They let us just walk around for a bit, and it was such a beautiful place at night. They also had like a culture festival where different cultures were there, from different countries like Germany, France, and some were from America, but it was very different food. What else? So then the next day in Sydney, we went on a cruise. We went on a cruise around the Sydney Harbor. Very nice. We saw new places. We saw so many things. Then we walked around. We walked around for a bit by ourselves again, which was awesome. I got to walk on the bridge. I got to walk across the bridge, and they had like a little amusement park around on the other side, and it was really nice going there. We went to then we had probably the most fun because we went to a place called The Rocks. The Rocks was built by convicts for richer people to stay at, and it was a very nice place. A lot of art there. Then we went to on the next day we went to the beach, Bondi Beach, which was very nice. The water was really cold. The sand was really cold. Then we went to these very, very, very weird cliffs where people decided to commit suicide, but they were beautiful cliffs, and I don't know why you would do that. Then on about our last day, we went to a wildlife reserve, which had all the wildlife of Australia, which was really nice. Then we went to a sheep farm, another sheep farm, where we learned about the sheeps in Australia, how they herd sheep. I got to throw a boomerang. I got to use a whip. It was so much fun. And then next day we woke up in the morning, got ready, and we went to the airport. And it was really really, really confusing going back home because we went from Australia back to New Zealand onto a 14, 13-hour flight to San Francisco. Then I finally got back to Texas, and it was like 1 in the morning. So tired. Well, that's all that happened on my trip. All that I saw, everything was great. I'm happy I got to go, and I'm happy everyone that helped me helped me. Because if without like anyone that helped me, I probably wouldn't have been able to go on this trip. And I'm really grateful. I'm very grateful to everyone that helped me. Thank you.